Most dog owners have experienced that moment when they catch their dog doing something wrong. Maybe the dog chewed a shoe, knocked over a trash can, or grabbed something it was not supposed to have. The natural reaction for many people is to stop, stare directly at the dog, and hold that look for several seconds. Humans often believe this communicates disappointment or correction, but dogs interpret the situation very differently. In canine social communication, a prolonged, hard stare is not a teaching tool. It is a signal associated with confrontation, dominance, and potential conflict. When a dog suddenly freezes, lowers its head, avoids eye contact, or looks up with wide eyes after being stared at, many owners assume they are seeing guilt. In reality, these behaviors are signs of stress and appeasement. The dog is not reflecting on its mistake. Instead, it is trying to reduce tension and prevent the situation from escalating. Over time, repeated confrontational interactions can have a lasting effect on trust. A dog that frequently experiences intimidating eye contact may become more cautious, more anxious, and less likely to approach its owner voluntarily. Rather than seeing their owner as a source of safety, they begin monitoring their mood and behavior, never completely certain what reaction they will receive. Fortunately, there is a better approach. Instead of using eye contact as a form of punishment, calmly interrupt the unwanted behavior and redirect the dog towards something appropriate. Use a steady voice, guide them towards success, and focus on teaching rather than intimidating. Dogs learn best when they feel secure, not threatened. Trust grows when communication is clear, predictable, and free from unnecessary confrontation. The dog you want most, a relaxed, confident companion who chooses to stay close to you, can only exist when they feel safe in your presence. Every interaction should reinforce the idea that your attention brings guidance and security, not uncertainty or fear. One of the most overlooked ways dogs communicate with the people they love is through quiet, emotional check-ins. You have probably seen it countless times without realizing what was happening. Your dog walks over while you are sitting on the couch, working at a desk, or simply relaxing. They gently sniff your hand, your clothing, or your face, and for a few moments, they seem completely focused on gathering information. Most owners immediately respond by reaching down to pet the dog, believing they are returning affection and strengthening the bond. While the intention is loving, the interaction is often interrupted before the dog has finished what they came to do. Dogs experience the world primarily through scent, and their noses provide them with an extraordinary amount of information that humans cannot detect. Through smell, they can pick up subtle clues about your emotional state, stress levels, physical condition, and even changes in your daily routine. What appears to be a simple sniff is actually a deliberate assessment performed by a dog who cares deeply about you. When owners instantly turn that moment into a petting session, they unintentionally shift the interaction away from the dog's purpose. A better approach is to remain still and allow the dog to complete their investigation at their own pace. Let them sniff, observe, and process whatever information they are seeking. Once they are finished, they may choose to lean against you, rest beside you, make eye contact, or quietly ask for affection. At that point, the connection becomes far more meaningful because it develops naturally from the dog's choice rather than from human interruption. By giving your dog the time and space to complete these emotional check-ins, you show respect for one of their most important forms of communication. Over time, this simple act helps build deeper trust, encourages more frequent interaction, and strengthens the emotional bond between you and your dog in a way that feels safe, natural, and understood. One of the most common mistakes dog owners make is assuming their dog will automatically adjust to major life changes, simply because humans understand what is happening. The reality is very different. People can prepare themselves mentally for future events, but dogs live almost entirely in the present moment. They rely on familiar routines, predictable environments, and stable relationships to feel secure. When something significant changes, such as moving to a new home, welcoming a new baby, introducing another pet, changing work schedules, or leaving for an extended trip, a dog's entire world can feel suddenly unfamiliar. From the dog's perspective, there is no explanation for why their routine has changed overnight. The places, sounds, smells, and patterns they depend on may disappear without warning. This uncertainty often creates confusion and anxiety, even when the change is ultimately positive. Research has shown that sudden disruptions within a household can elevate stress levels in dogs and increase the production of stress hormones for extended periods. The good news is that owners can make these transitions much easier by preparing their dogs gradually whenever possible. Before a move, allow your dog to visit the new environment and become familiar with its sights and smells. During periods of change, keep feeding times, walks, and daily rituals as consistent as possible. Bring familiar bedding, toys, and objects that carry comforting scents into new environments. These small details provide emotional anchors that help dogs feel safe when other parts of their world are shifting. What seems like a minor adjustment to a human can feel overwhelming to a dog who does not understand the reason behind it. By recognizing this and offering patience, consistency, and preparation, owners can dramatically reduce unnecessary stress. Sometimes the greatest act of care is not helping a dog adapt after the change happens, but helping them feel secure before the change ever arrives. Perhaps the most important gift you can give your dog is the freedom to say no, and the confidence that you will listen when they do. Dogs communicate constantly, but they do not use words. Instead, they rely on an incredibly rich system of body language made up of subtle movements, facial expressions, posture changes, and behavioral signals. A dog that turns its head away, licks its lips, yawns unexpectedly, leans back, avoids eye contact, freezes, or becomes noticeably stiff is often trying to communicate a simple message: "I am uncomfortable," "I need space," or "please stop." These signals are not random behaviors. They are meaningful attempts to avoid conflict and express discomfort in the gentlest way possible. Unfortunately, many well-meaning owners miss these messages every day. A child wants to hug the dog, a stranger reaches toward its face, or a grooming session continues despite obvious signs of stress. Because the dog does not growl or snap, people assume everything is fine. In reality, the dog may already be communicating clearly, but nobody is listening. Over time, this teaches an important lesson, and not a good one. The dog learns that their signals do not matter. They learn that turning away, licking their lips, or showing discomfort produces no result. When communication repeatedly fails, many dogs stop using those softer signals altogether. Some eventually resort to stronger behaviors such as growling, barking, snapping, or avoiding interaction entirely. Others simply shut down emotionally and tolerate situations that make them uncomfortable without expressing how they truly feel. Neither outcome reflects trust. True trust develops when a dog believes their communication will be respected. Studies have shown that dogs given greater control over physical interactions often display lower anxiety levels and stronger voluntary bonds with their handlers. When a dog knows they can move away, decline contact, or express discomfort without being ignored, they become more relaxed and confident. They no longer need to constantly monitor situations for threats because they trust that their feelings matter. Respecting a dog's boundaries does not weaken your relationship or reduce your authority. In fact, it strengthens the bond in ways force and control never can. A dog that feels heard becomes more honest, more communicative, and more willing to engage. They learn that they do not need to defend themselves because the person they trust most is finally listening. And for many dogs, that feeling of being understood is one of the greatest forms of safety they can experience. Many dog owners spend years trying to become the perfect owner, believing they need better training methods, more toys, longer walks, or endless patience. But perfection is not what dogs are searching for. What they need most is consistency. Dogs are constantly observing the patterns in their environment and using those patterns to determine whether they are safe. When rules change from day to day, when affection depends on a person's mood, or when routines are unpredictable, dogs struggle to relax because they never know what to expect. Uncertainty keeps their nervous system alert and their attention focused on monitoring rather than trusting. In contrast, a predictable owner creates a sense of emotional security. Regular feeding times, familiar routines, clear expectations, and reliable responses help dogs feel confident in the world around them. They do not need every day to be perfect. They simply need most days to feel familiar. In many ways, this is the core message of everything discussed in this video. Your dog is not waiting for a flawless human. They are waiting for someone who listens when they communicate, respects their boundaries, helps them navigate change, and provides a stable source of safety. The strongest bond is not built through control, correction, or perfection. It is built through trust. And trust grows when your dog knows exactly who you are every single day.